Just a reminder before today's programme that you can check out the previous video Scaries that was aired on AMTV, which covered the subject of fireworks. And now, here on AMTV, the latest instalment of Video Scaries, going for a more festive approach.
Be afraid. Be very afraid. Be very, 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 very afraid. It's showtime.
Hello, and welcome to Video Scaries, a series where we look at the various bits and pieces of video that scared us since us as kids, and we'll see if they can still scare us now, all these years later. For today's topic, well, given the festive time, there's only one thing it really could be. We're going to take a look at some ads that cover various themes, but all centre somewhat around Christmas time. But before we go into it, a warning for what's to come. Some of today's content deals with extremely hard-hitting subjects and is certainly not for the faint of heart, so viewer discretion is strongly advised. With that, let's take a look at our first film today, which is titled Make It Home for Christmas. Now that's the sort of tone we'll be seeing a lot of today. Just a quick note, the music you heard isn't the original, it's been included due to the original being copyrighted. The clip and music have been preserved by Hello I'm a Pizza, who goes to great lengths to preserve many public information films, including the ones you'll see today, so check out their channel if you haven't already. But in regards to the film, this is hands down one of the most harrowing clips I've ever seen. It shows that a film to raise awareness about texting and driving, thus tackling the issue of death, doesn't need to be shocking, bloody or gory to effectively get the message across. I think it's fairly obvious from when we see the initial setup of a daughter texting her dad who is driving that we can see where this is going to go. But seeing the daughter cry at the sight of her dead father, presumably on Christmas morning, it's truly heartbreaking and puts a lump in your throat. For me, this is a memorable film. It may not be to others, but I think one thing we all cannot dispute is the sheer impact it can have on us and our families when we lose a loved one around Christmas. And with that, we will move on to our next film of the day, which also tackles the issue of death at Christmas time, and is aptly titled Grief.
Thank you, Mummy.
Oh, darling.
Thank you, Mummy. Thank you, Mummy. Thank you, Mummy.
Leave it there, lovey.
Thank you, Mummy.
Oh.
The smoke and fumes from a house fire can kill a child in under a minute. Wake up Get a smoke alarm.
Hard-hitting in its own way, with a surprise at the end. I think the first 2/3 of the clip showing a mother consistently watching her daughter open her Christmas presents on tape is quite harrowing to see. We all deal with grief in a variety of ways, and for a mother to lose their child, I can only imagine that this would be one of many ways in which someone would try to handle or process that grief. We see the effect it has on her, though even though she is watching a happy memory, the realization that her daughter is no longer here sets it quick and fast, leaving her devastated. I was surprised to hear the narration kick in and reveal to us that this is actually an advert to encourage people to go out and make sure they have a smoke alarm. So, as well as Christmas theming, it's also an advert for fire safety. I'll admit, I think I would have found this a lot more powerful had it not been an advert for fire, and we are left to imagine and speculate as to how this mother lost her child, or purely making it an advert about grief and how we can cope with it. But despite that, linking it in with fire safety does work, though I think it lessens the overall impact of this particular clip. But whilst on the issue of fire safety, here's an even older advert titled, "Don't Leave Your Children Alone."
Last Christmas, I hung the little angels on the Christmas tree, and Stephen helped me. And then, Mum and Dad went out to a party, and Stephen and I were in bed. And then I woke up, and there was smoke, and Stephen was crying. And I ran and shouted for Mum, but she didn't come. And then Stephen stopped crying. That was last Christmas.
Fire can break out at any time. This Christmas, don't leave your children alone in the house.
Well, they were certainly going for a build. They did a good job initially at making this seem like a typical family Christmas advert. Shots of a fully decorated tree, upbeat narration from a young child, but as soon as you hear the crying and the narrator's tone change, it honestly sends a small shiver down your spine. Because for a long time you're slowly learning about the situation, only realising at the end what claimed the young boy's life, last Christmas. Again, sort of like this first advert we looked at today, it doesn't rely on particularly shocking imagery to get the point across, just a smooth progression of a story from happiness to despair, with a grim tone warning us not to leave our children alone this Christmas. I find it amazing to believe that parents actually did this in the 1980s, and I found next to no one who does it now, especially with younger children. Also, one final positive, despite it being about fire and the damage it can cause, there is something chillingly eerie about not seeing it in adverts like this. Alluding to fire, without showing it, is horrifying, because it makes us imagine the scenario that is presented to us, so props to the designers for using this effectively. Moving onwards now to a clip that is titled, Dave.
What are you drinking? Same again?
Yeah.
No, not for me.
What?
I'm driving.
You won't get pulled. Not on a Sunday.
Get me a half.
Half is what girls drink. What's the problem here?
I've got to get down my mum's for dinner.
Oh, his mum's for dinner. Mummy's boy. Come on, Dave. Just one more.
All right, then get me a pint.
Come on, Dave. Just one more.
Okay, I'll admit, this one is a bit of a cheat. This isn't specifically themed around Christmas time, and the overall message is in regards to drinking and driving and the devastating effects it can have. However, I think it has more weight and justification than ever when airing it or viewing it around Christmas. Just think, Christmas is a season and time when we all like to get together and be happy, usually involving many an alcoholic beverage. And if there was ever a time a designated driver could be tempted to have one too many, it's arguably around Christmas. With the advert itself, it expertly juxtaposes the audio from before the incident to showing how Dave is now. How having too many drinks and then driving has led him to losing much of his independence and irreparable damage to his body. Short, but very effective. And a very strong reminder of how drinking and driving can lead to your life being flipped upside down, and at Christmas, how the happiest time of the year can easily turn into the saddest. Now moving onwards, I'm sure we're all familiar with the classic carol, The 12 Days of Christmas, but here's a clip that delivers a harrowing spin on it. Here is 12 Days.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 12 hours of shouting, 11 nights bed wetting, 10 empty beer cans, 9 cuts and scratches, 8 kicks a kicking, 7 screams from Mummy, 6 bruises bruising, 5 broken ribs, 4 cigarette burns, 3 policemen, 2 hours with Mum, and a Christmas in A&E.
I'm sorry if that or any of the clips today upset anyone, but abuse is an issue that needs to be highlighted. To hear what is usually a very jolly and upbeat Christmas carol be adapted into something much darker, much more sinister, is both horrifying and chilling to listen to. I think the impact of it is even stronger considering we don't even see what this young girl is describing. As each day passes with her descriptions, we are once again left to our imaginations as to how this girl suffers on a daily basis. Not that you need to imagine much. Abuse of women, men, or children has absolutely no place in our society, and this advert I think does a superb job at both really grabbing people's attention, making them listen to the suffering that one can go through at the hands of an abuser, and to hopefully make more people take note and do what they can to try and prevent this terrible crime from spreading and growing. A powerful advert with a very powerful message. Uncomfortable to watch? Definitely. But impactful. Something that leaves a mark. Unquestionable. And with that said, we will now progress to our final clip of the day. We head over to Australia for what they call Lennon's Christmas.
And so this is Christmas.
Can you feel me touch you here?
What have you done?
I said I'd get a friggin' taxi.
Another year
Anybody think we should keep going?
a new one just begun. And so this is Christmas. I hope you have fun.
I wasn't drunk. Do you understand what
And
you've done?
even the dear ones,
Passenger from the other vehicle has died.
the old and the young. A merry, merry Christmas and a happy new year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. So this is Christmas.
Well, where to begin? I think sometimes we forget that even though Christmas Day for the majority of folk is a time for rest, relaxation and family, there are hundreds of thousands around the world who plough on with their jobs, particularly the health services. To see this story unfold of people suffering from the aftermath of a drink driver is very unnerving and in places heartbreaking. The a cappella version of John Lennon's Happy Xmas War Is Over just emphasises the hauntingness and tragedy of the whole clip. And not just for the families and loved ones, but also for the staff involved in trying to save people. Working in the health services is not an easy job, and I can't even imagine how losing a patient, let alone on Christmas, must feel for doctors and nurses all across the world. Like many we've seen today, this is a very powerful advert that really hits home the impact of how Christmas can be tainted forever, especially if we have a little too much to drink and start driving. Because once an accident occurs, in many cases, that can spell the end. I know this is an Australian clip, but it reminded me how tirelessly the staff of our NHS here in the UK work, especially over Christmas. So if you take anything away from the video Scaries today, let it be a renewed appreciation for all our healthcare workers, because without their tireless and dedicated efforts, in cases like the one in this clip, we may not be around to see another Christmas. To close things off, Christmas is a time of year that should definitely be celebrated and enjoyed for all it's worth, surrounded by those we love the most. However, these clips serve as an important reminder that things are not all sunshine and rainbows for everyone, and that even though we should try to have fun, take a moment for those who seem a little on edge, take a moment to consider whether you've had enough to drink, and take a moment to put your phone down as you're driving home for Christmas, and to treasure every moment you can with the ones you love. And with that, we have come to the end of Video Scaries. Hope you enjoyed basking in the nostalgic clips that once upon a time made us cower or shriek with terror. And what to take away from today? I think it's the following. Thank you for watching. We hope you like, subscribe and share the video around. Have a very Merry Christmas, and we hope that you join us next time. Well, with that does bring us to the end of programming today on AMTV. If you enjoyed what you saw, please do like and support the channel, as it's very much appreciated. Please keep your eyes on AMTV for more content coming throughout December, and as always, we hope you're enjoying the holidays and that we wish you a very Merry Christmas. Good night.